I will move on to, in your book you talk.
Yes, let's stay with the book.
In the book, you talk about legacy building also, and about how everything that has happened in the Modi era has worked towards a goal. In 2024, will India and China bury the hatchet? Because there is in one part you talk about relationship with France and how it has gone forward. You talk about relationship with Japan. These two stand out clearly in the Modi era, having taken an upward trajectory. The two which don't take an upward trajectory, one is China and the other one is of course Pakistan. Pakistan barely makes any mention in your book, but China. So will steps be taken in 2024 to bury the hatchet?
See, I cannot answer that because obviously as they say, it takes two hands to clap. But I pose the issue, and I pose the issue in this manner, that if you look at the last 75 plus years of our foreign policy, we have had a strain of realism about China, and we have had a strain of I can say, you can call it idealism, romanticism, non-realism you can say. And it begins right from in a sense from day one. I mean, where there is a very sharp difference of opinion how to respond to China between Nehru and Sardar Patel. I am giving a certain attitude here. So, I would say the Modi government and has been very much more in conformity with the strain of realism which originated from Sardar Patel. And
you mentioned the romanticism of the Nehruvian era.
Yes, yes.
Now, and then you talk about
yeah,
the realism.
and I have given some examples. I mean, where you know, even when it came, for example, to the UN Security Council seat. Now, again, it is not my case that we should have necessarily taken the seat. That's a different debate. But to say that we should first let China, China's interests should come first. That's a very it's a very peculiar statement to make.
And you also write that there was no reciprocity in the years after that from China.
Yeah, no. So, there is a judgment here. There is first a judgment about what we should do, then there is a judgment about what we should expect. So, I think today what will happen with China. I mean, I argue for dealing with China from a basis of realism, that strain of realism which I feel extends all the way from Sardar Patel to Narendra Modi. That is the strain of realism which I feel should allow us to have a certain approach. The alternative strain which starts from Nehru's in a sense China first policy, because he says first let China take its seat, then we will see for India.
China first.
So, from China first policy it ends up as Chindia policy.
I know people had forgotten that horrible term Chindia.
Well, I think
you mention it.
You should ask the inventor of the term.
Yeah, it's very cringeworthy to read it today.
But there you are.
Yeah. You've been ambassador in China. You've met with several of your predecessors who were foreign ministers. You as a foreign minister, as an external affairs minister, how do you see the pivot that India has taken with regard to China?
No, I don't think, look, I don't believe it's a pivot we have taken. We have tried to construct a relationship which is based, as I say, on three mutuals. And the fact is that unless there is a mutuality of that mutuality is recognized, this relationship will find it very difficult to progress. And today part of our problem is exactly because in 2020 agreements were disregarded, and the mutuality on which this whole relationship is predicated has not been followed, that we have the situation we have. So, when you ask me where would it go, I would say a lot of it would depend on what is the Chinese policy.